Here with me now is Kate Juhlke, a young mother, businesswoman, and fellow dog lover. And I actually met Kate. One of my close buddies ended up being Kate's cousin. So Kate, hey, welcome here. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Kate, we're going to talk about the joys and trials of motherhood. So do you mind if I just jump right in and start peppering you with questions?
Of course, go for it.
So let me ask you, you're in a different spot in life than me. You're married, you've got kids, you're a businesswoman. I'm none of these things, but there's other people listening who might be in your shoes. So I'm wondering, what advice would you give your younger self?
Well, I'm still young, Mitch, so let's not forget about that, okay?
All right.
Let's just give me a little credit there. But no, I think in a more serious level, I think the advice I would probably give is not to get too caught up on reaching certain milestones or certain goals at certain points in your life. I think there's a little bit of an expectation that's maybe put on us from society, and there's some other pressures to do certain things by certain time frames. And it's okay if you don't have your career sorted out by the age of 25. I'm in my mid 30s and I still don't. It's okay if you're not married with kids by the time you're 30. I think it's really great to want to reach for those goals and to have that and to look ahead. But when you do that too often, I think you can miss out on really enjoying those joys in those small moments. And I think if I knew that back then, I probably would have appreciated those steps a little bit more.
That's cool. Yeah, and so, talking about enjoying the moment, enjoying where God has placed you today, that's neat. But you actually, you talk about milestones. You have hit a milestone, and you've got 2 kids. So I'm wondering, is motherhood all you thought it would be? Tell me about that.
Motherhood is great. It's definitely, you'll experience your highest highs, but there are times where there are some lows, and don't let social media fool you. It's extremely, extremely hard. There are really, really hard times. And I think in those moments, it's really easy to kind of start to spiral into a little bit of anxiety, and you start to, as a mom, lose a little bit of your own identity. So, you might start to think, I'm never going to be able to sleep again. And I'm never going to be able to pick up those hobbies that I once had, however long ago I had them, because now this is my life. But we all go through different seasons of life. And I think when you have young kids, it's really important to try to remember not to lose hope. This is just a season. It will pass. And I have a 6-month-old, and I'm already starting to see how that really hard challenge is now changing, and we're entering new stages, and you start to get a little bit of that hope and a little bit of that independence back.
Right. So Kate, that's interesting. And you talk about some of the challenges of being a mother. I'm wondering, how does your faith inform you as a mother with 2 kids? How does your faith speak into that?
Yeah, so I need it. Like I need God to help me get through every day, and I've really, really found that as a mom. I think having Him and knowing He's there and He's guiding my day is so important. I mean, we've all heard the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. And I believe it not only takes that, but 100% it takes God. And at the end of the day, we're all God's kids. You're his child, I'm his child, and my kids are his. And He has blessed me with, me and my husband with the gift of raising our children and, raising them in a home where, we follow certain morals, and we want to keep them healthy and we want to keep them happy. But at the end of the day, he's got full control. So I think it's really important for me to remember that and I think it does give me a little bit of peace with that as well, that I can't control everything, and I shouldn't have to control everything. God has the wheel, and at the end of the day, I'll do what I can, and He'll be with us.
Right on. Well, Kate, let me ask you one more question. That's cool. You talk about hope. How does hope and how does your faith influence you when you are a mother? But you're also a businesswoman. So I'm wondering, especially over the last year, you've got work, you've got kids, and this last year has been tough for everyone. So when you step back, you consider all these different things that you're a part of and these roles you play. How does your faith influence you when you're looking at the whole picture?
Yeah, and I think that's a really good question. I think my hope is directly connected to my faith in God. So I have more hope when I, can use Him to lean on. So when I start to read my scripture and I spend a little bit more time listening to what He's saying. And I think COVID has been a really hard time for everybody, absolutely. But I think it's been also an opportunity for us to spend more time. I know for myself, I spent a lot more time reading my Bible. I spent a lot more time growing close to God because we didn't have all of those church supports that we are, very blessed to be able to get to now. And we didn't have our family and friends friends as close as we once did. So I think my hope has definitely grown. And I think now we're kind of seeing lights at the end of the tunnel. And again, God is there for us every step of the way.
Kate, that's awesome. I appreciate everything you said. Thanks for joining us.